welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. They are your place to go for sales and service, and your vehicle awaits you. Buy and lease at Great Lakes Honda City. You can get a sneak peek by going to greatlakeshondacity.com. And we are, of course, with you up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, Monday through Friday between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, under promise, over deliver. We always go past 11 o'clock in the morning. I know we will again today. We have plenty of great stuff coming up for you, so we appreciate you being with us on youtube.com and facebook.com, both /wakeupcalldt, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com, live streaming radio worldwide. For the first hour of this broadcast, I am dedicating my time to something that is very important to me and has been very important to me over the years, and that is your Onondaga Community College Lazers. Many, many years ago, I met with Rob Edson, who was the athletics director at the time, and him and I spoke about what OCC can be, is, and is growing to be. And then Mike Borsch came in, Rob Edson passed, he's watching over us from heaven, and as Mike came in, we had many conversations about the vision, the hope, and the desire to put OCC in a very special place. And this year, we have the opportunity to bring that to you and to start off something that I hope only grows and continues to be special and reaches hearts and minds, not just in our community of Central and Upstate New York, but all over the world. We call it the Lazer Lounge. It is exclusive to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we have the opportunity to tell the stories of student athletes, coaches, and administration connected with Onondaga Community College, a place that I have loved, cared for, and tried to connect with in many ways over the years. Well, today the history continues, and I have this wonderful opportunity to have a women's soccer special this morning. Head coach Sean St. Denis will be joining me, as well as student athlete Geona Wood, but not before I get to do my own laser show. So good morning. We are picture in picture here with Sean St. Denis and Geona Wood in this edition of the Lazer Lounge. Onondaga Community College head coach and student athlete, both on the screen here with you today for this soccer special inside the 2025 season. How are we doing, Sean and Geona?
We are doing well. Off to a good start. We're 3-0. We just picked up a big win on Sunday against Mohawk Valley, and our eyes are pointed towards SUNY ESF tomorrow night.
And Geona, for you, good morning to you, and happy to have you here as well. So thanks for being with us and representing the student athlete side of the team.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So I do, Sean, I said something to you before we got started here, but I have to make mention of it. Your backdrop, which is real, like that's not a digital backdrop. Those are your scarves that you have in the soccer world. One of the coolest backdrops I have seen, and I'm navigating through them and looking at some really, really awesome stuff. I will tell you this, the closer that we get in a friendship that we hopefully build, I may have to wear a few of those that are behind you. So bring me into why you have these scarves and why you made the decision to make this a piece of your home and a place where, kind of your sanctum, so to speak.
So I've been a fan of the English Premier League since we started getting it on TV here in about 2003 or 2004. And it's a big part of the culture over in England and over in Europe and really all around the world. So I got my first one, I don't know, maybe in 2008. And then I started attending more games when I was younger. And it seemed like they sold them at every game. So all the scarves that you see behind me, there's more that direction. But all the scarves that you see behind me are from the stadiums. So you can see the FC Union Berlin one, that is from the stadium. I have not attended all of those games, but many of my close friends and family are aware of the weird obsession that I have with them. And when they're traveling around the world, they'll pick them up for me. And the reason why I hang them up in my office is because I was an assistant coach for 7 years on the men's side before I became the women's head coach. And the previous coach, Corey, it looked like a doctor's office in here. It was just plain white walls. It was very boring. So I decided to go the opposite direction and add as much color as possible.
Well, I can appreciate it. I can respect it. And I think it's awesome. And so, Geona, do you own, with all of the scarves that you see your head coach has, do you own one or two?
I do not.
You do not?
I don't.
Okay. So do you think that today, because you're making history in this Lazer Lounge, and because you're the first, and I don't know if you know this, but our first Lazer Lounge was with Mike Borsch, the athletics director at OCC. So you are officially, with him being on and with Sean being on, you're the first student athlete to ever be in the Lazer Lounge in this exclusive multimedia marketing partnership. So as you have made history this morning, do you think that it would be fair for Sean to let you pick a scarf before you leave today?
Oh, definitely. If he's willing to give one up.
Sean, I'm sorry for putting you on the spot, but she made history. You got to do something. Maybe a special order from the OCC shop or something like that. We got to figure something out for Geona.
We'll see what we can do this spring. It's we might be able to put in another order for Onondaga scarves.
There we go. So, Geona, for you, how did you get started in this world of soccer? What brought you to it? What fascinated you about it? How did your story start in this world when it comes to being on the pitch?
Yeah, so I come from a smaller town up north, Dexter, just outside of Watertown. So everything was sort of close-knit. So going and playing at the YMCA up there just was something to do because there's not much else to do up there. So that sort of made me fall in love. I loved my teammates, I loved my coaches, and I just started right off from there and never stopped because I loved it so much. And then I started, coming down here, traveling to Massachusetts, just all over, and just my love for the game grew, and here we are. So.
And you said coming from a small town up by Watertown in Dexter, how would you describe Dexter to someone who's never been there?
About 20 buildings and a gas station and a fire department.
It's a pretty good diner.
So, I mean, being up there, I would imagine that, like you said, when you got into soccer and you kind of put yourself into it, put your time into it, I would imagine that kind of engulfed a lot of your time because there's not a lot to do up there. Did you find that soccer was kind of that thing to feed your energy into in a small town?
Yes, for sure. A lot of people play soccer from up there. It's just something to do on the weekends. Like I said, going to the Y, hanging out.
So, Sean, how did you hear of Geona? How did that all come to be? And like you said, there's a good diner. So were you just at your familiar diner and ended up seeing Geona go by with a soccer ball? I mean, how did this all come to be?
That would be a more fun story. Going into my second year, I had a player from Krogan, Brenna Mast, commit. And then going into that season when the recruiting process started, I was like, we need some more girls from up north. We especially need a goalkeeper coming in. And then Brenna, everybody north of Pulaski that's ever kicked a soccer ball knows every single soccer player from up there. So Brenna played on a local club team up there with Geona, and then we just went to 2 or 3 games, high school games of hers, and things just worked out. It was a good fit pretty much immediately.
Yeah, and in this recruiting world, it's unique, right, when you're inside of junior college athletics because you have a smaller window. Now, it's a smaller window that's always been because it's 2 years instead of 4, but the world we live in today, especially when we look at football and basketball, you really only do have your players for 1 or 2 years, so they're kind of dealing in that world right now. But when you are recruiting and you're looking to have success, You want to have it, of course, every year, but you only have your student athletes for a given period of time. Does that affect the way that you recruit, and how do you kind of look at your planning and assessing a student athlete, knowing that as much as you may love them and love seeing them grow, in a case like Geona or anybody on the team, you know that you only have 2 years no matter what?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely the most difficult part of this job is, you spend so much time with the players from early August to hopefully mid-November, if you have a really good season, and then the spring season, and then just all of a sudden, if those 2 years go by super fast, and then you got to pass them on to somebody else, or they move on and join the workforce. You try to provide as much information to prepare them for that as you can, but some people are set up better than others. In terms of recruiting, you just try to fill in some of the big holes is the first priority, and then we look for quality players, the best that we can get, and then we start preseason generally a week earlier than most of the teams that we play against. And that first week is just catching everybody else up, just trying to break bad habits. We try to play like a more passing style. It doesn't always work that way, but that's our intent. So that first week is a lot of technical training where we're just getting them hundreds of touches on the ball each day.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, you have to make the most. I mean, any coach is making the most of their time, but with the limited time you have, you really have to kick it into high gear as quickly as you can. Geona, what do you like about Sean's coaching? I want to put you on the spot. He's right next to you, but what do you like about Sean's coaching style?
I think he does a really good job. His knowledge of the game is super well, and just the way we train, it's always high intensity. Like he said, touches on the ball. It's just something that not a lot of other coaches focus on. We do a lot of passing, and just his knowledge of where to put each player on the field, having a strong midfield, having a strong defense. He just sees things in the game that not a lot of other people see.
So why OCC for you, Geona? Was it meeting with Sean and getting to know what he focuses on, how he teaches, his personality? What sold OCC for you? Was it coming onto the campus, seeing the facilities? Was it academia and whatnot? What was it that kind of spoke to you about Onondaga Community College?
Just the history of the program. When I came in, they had went to nationals for the first time the year before. So then I came down, watched the ESF game, Queen of the Hill Cup, and I just loved the coaching style, the way the girls played, and it just sold for me over other colleges, I guess.
And, I think that, and this is something that's important to me, especially in this exclusive multimedia marketing partnership, is dispelling some of the things that are out there. To me, junior college has a lot of wonderful pieces, elements, and people to it. How my connection to the JUCO world, to the NJCAA, has come through Onondaga Community College. And so I can speak to my experience seeing this campus grow, the opportunities grow, these wonderful facilities, student athletes, coaches, and the success that has come at Onondaga Community College. For Sean, for you, what would you say to someone that doesn't know the JUCO world, doesn't know NJCAA, and says, why would I go that route? What would you say about what OCC provides?
To me, it's when you talk to players, they seem to name the same 6 SUNY schools that everybody in upstate New York wants to go to. So, especially if you want to play, you would be joining teams that have 32 to 38 players on their roster. So the first thing that I always say is come for 1 year, pay 1/20th of what you're going to pay at name the school, and then you're going to play quite a bit.
Yeah.
Then if you decide that you want to play for a second year, that's great. That would be awesome. But you're going to be more prepared both credit-wise and get some college experience going into that 4-year school. It's most of the time your first year courses, whether it be here or Cortland or Geneseo or whatever that SUNY college might be, they're all going to be relatively the same. So if you could avoid paying like $35,000 and you can only pay like $4 here, then that's usually my first pitch. And people like Geona see the value in that, and we hope to continue building the program where more and more players will see that value and spend their freshman year here and continue to build the program, go in the right direction.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, for what you receive at Onondaga Community College and the fact that, over the years we now have the opportunity that you can live on campus. So you can reach really anywhere in the world and have that. I want to stick with you, Sean, for that, what that does for you, because the JUCO world doesn't always offer that. OCC back in the day did not have that. But to know that you can really recruit from anywhere in the world and say, like, hey, we're not trying to find you housing somewhere close. Like, you can live right here at OCC.
Oh, it makes a big difference. A lot of the teams that we play against don't have dorms. So they're kind of stuck with more a tighter recruiting circle than what I have. So I recruit pretty much the entirety of New York State only because we have the dorms here. And right now we have 12 players in the dorms, all of them from outside of like 40 to 45 minutes away. So the dorms makes a big difference. Some of those players probably would not have chosen here if they had to commute every single day for classes and practice.
Yeah, I think it's incredible, and it's another piece of OCC that I love. Geona, do you go back and forth? Are you like, hey, I got to get back to Dexter, I got to get back to that diner that Sean talks about, or are you staying on campus?
So I do have a place on campus just up the road, but I do go home a lot because before I decided to come back for a second year, I picked up a job where it requires a certain amount of hours per month. So I am going home a few times a month to get in that work, but I'm also coming back. So it's a lot of driving back and forth, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Wouldn't want it any other way.
So when you take this drive, and this is something I don't know if I've ever spoken about on the show, 21 plus years of broadcasting, and I don't know if I've ever said this on the air, but I think about it all the time. There's a beauty and a majesty to upstate New York. And especially around this time of year, when the leaves are changing, and I'm starting to see it at the top of the trees, when these leaves are changing and you take these drives, like you would from Syracuse up to the Watertown area, like you said, you wouldn't have it any other way. Do you enjoy and kind of take that in? And do you have that deep breath moment, put the windows down and look around you and say, like, wow, this landscape is truly beautiful? Because when people ask me, where are you from? And I say New York, they're always like, oh, buildings and smog and it's probably smells bad. I'm like, no, I'm from the part of New York where like God's paintbrush is all over the place and people haven't touched it yet. Do you take in the majesty of upstate New York? Because you are taking a drive that shows you, especially now, the changing of the season.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we practice 4 to 6 most nights. So like a lot of times I get the sunset on the way home too. So that's just really nice. It's a nice decompress, like going home. Sometimes I don't even have the music on. It's just, like you said, windows down, and it's a great view.
Yeah, there's something beautiful about upstate New York. And I'll keep saying it if Sean will put me on the payroll to recruit. No, I'm kidding. So, but it is true, though.
Give me 1 or 2 players a year, I can guarantee you a scarf.
There we go. So, Geona, we were talking off the air that you are studying for something very special. And there's a lot of different kind of layers to who you are. Now, how old are you again?
19.
So 19 years old. And the reason why I ask that is because I want people to know that when you're describing what you're studying, what you intend to be, and what you're already helping out doing. So let everybody know where you're going in your career, as well as the current work that you do to help the community, because anyone of any age needs to hear the pay it forward, giving nature of your soul. And I got to learn a little bit about it before we got on the air, but I'd love for you to share what you're studying and what you're doing right now.
Yeah, so currently I'm a part of a volunteer fire department up north, town of Brownville. So that includes Dexter, sort of in the Glen Park area, Pillar Point. And alongside that, I'm an EMT with them. And then Guilfoyle Ambulance Service, which is out of Watertown. I work for them, which is the part-time job that I picked up before I decided I was coming back here. So I'm doing that and then working on my advanced EMT right now. And then my end goal is to work that full time until I can take the New York State Trooper test.
Volunteer firefighter. Why?
I love giving back to my community. I think that's something that I've always been dedicated to since I was young. I raised a lot of money for our local canines up north, and between that, it just was never ending, and I didn't want to stop. So it's a way of giving back.
And you said, I mean, you said you raised a lot of money for the canines up north. How did you do that? What did you do in that world?
So in lieu of birthday gifts from 2018 to 2021, I collected cans, monetary donations, and then I gave it all to the Upstate Canine Foundation. So that's like Jefferson County, basically. And they put the money towards like vests and vet bills and things of that nature because the state troopers don't pay for those things. It's sort of on the handler. So like when the dog gets older and they retire, like all those vet bills are on the handler. So I just wanted to give back as that's something I want to do down the line.
So you were truly, literally paying it forward to say, I want to help these canines now because they connect to the trooper world and I want to be a trooper someday. So I'm trying to cyclical bring this all together. How do you have that foresight? I mean, you're 19. There's people that are 47 years old that are not even planning like this is what I'm doing today in an effort for tomorrow. Where does this all come from? Is this upbringing? Is it, from your parents? Is it just this has always been your soul? This is who you are? I mean, how have you had that foresight of what I'm doing today, I'm connecting to what I'm attempting to achieve and will achieve down the road?
Yeah, I definitely have to give it all to my parents. My dad was a corrections officer in Watertown, so he had like a lot of trooper friends that he would be like hanging out with and stuff. So just being brought up in that area, that field, I mean, I would looked at them and I was like, I want to be like them one day, and that was it.
So you, like you said, you want to be like them one day. You want to be a trooper. The world we live in today, and we all know, Geona, is not an easy world. It's never been an easy world, but we're all kind of the one that we're living in at the time. Like somebody in the 50s might say this was the toughest, or the 20s was the tough, whatever it may be. But we're living where we're living here in the 21st century, and we need good law enforcement. We need people that protect. You said growing up as a kid, you saw it, you were around it, you always wanted to do it. Seeing the world as broken as it is right now, why do you want to still put yourself out there and truly serve and protect other people?
I just want to leave an impact. Like that's always been my goal. So just going out there and being able to it's not all about like arresting people, like helping people, giving back, making that presence known.
Sean, when you sit next to a student athlete that's saying all of these things, obviously she is competitive, strong, and gives something to your soccer team. But you're hearing of a young woman who is dedicated to her community, giving, and is seeking to have selfless work for her present and future. What does that mean to you to have that caliber of student athlete at OCC?
It means everything. Geona, first of all, is way smarter than I am. So it means everything. So last May, we had our first set of 9 student athletes that graduated from the women's soccer team. And watching those 9 players walk across the stage made me more proud than anything that they accomplished on the field. So it's something that we value, and that's one of the things that kind of drew me to Gianna, because from the first phone call, she knew exactly what she wanted to do. She wants to get in the trooper program. She wants to eventually work with the K-9 units down the line.
Yeah.
And I was like, this girl knows what she wants. That told me enough to continue to pursue her to play goalkeeper for us.
And Gianna, you playing goalkeeper again, a selfless job, right? I mean, you are taking the best shot that other teams are trying to make, right? You have to put your body on the line. You got to lay out. You have to anticipate. You might get hit in the face, might get hit in the arm, might get hit in the leg, might get hit in the foot. I mean, the life of a goalkeeper, people see the awesome saves and they're like, wow, that was a great job. But they don't see the fact that you might walk off the field with 13 different bruises from all those other shots that came through. Why be a goalkeeper? Why put yourself out there? And I'm asking you from the perspective of somebody who, when I was coaching youth soccer, you know, I had to find my goalkeeper because there was nobody that's like, yeah, I'm going to do it, except for one kid that has a selfless heart, and I will always love that kid. Justin, one of the nicest guys, one of the nicest young men, and I know he's out there doing great things in this world. Why did you want to be a goalkeeper? Why were you willing to say, hey, literally, give me your best shot?
Yeah, I like the different aspect of it. I mean, it's obviously completely different than all other 10 players on the field, but I also like the ability to see the whole field, be able to communicate with everyone and just let them know what's going on and be that voice from the back.
We know the goalkeeper gets a lot of credit, but your back line helps to prevent a lot of shots that would come your way. What can you say about the defense at OCC and what you appreciate?
Honestly, it's incredible. From the high school I came from, I saw a lot of shots. I hit my 500th save before I graduated. Like, I was constantly seeing the ball. And then I came here, not necessarily expecting that, but expecting to see the ball a lot more than, I think, 57 times last year I had a save. So, like, it's just a whole different world playing with the college players. I have a really great back four, probably one of the best around. So I don't see the ball a lot, but when I do, I try and do the best thing I can. And I have to give a lot of credit to not only the four girls in front of me, but our center midfield as well. I mean, they're incredible, and I can't thank them enough, honestly.
Yeah, well, congratulations on your 500 saves in high school, and hopefully that back line and center back world and everybody on this team make sure that you don't have to make as many this time around. So, Sean, what can you say to your defense? And you just heard Gianna speak about the four in front of her and everybody else, obviously, on this team that helps out her and make sure that those shots don't get to her. What can you say about the defense this season through this first part of the early part of the OCC women's soccer season?
You can't speak enough about just the leadership from one of our center backs, Brianna Dorrance. She keeps everything very organized between her and Gianna, just making sure that all four defenders are on the same page. And then, there's two freshmen that hopped right in. One of them is playing center back, one of them is playing left back, and they really hit the ground running. And that's always a challenging thing when two of our first three games are against some of the more challenging opposition that we have in our region. For those two players to adapt that quickly and play as well as they did speaks a lot to them. And again, back to Bree, she is kind of like our rock back there, and she keeps everything organized and makes sure that if we're getting scored on, it's because the other team's doing something truly special. It's not one of our own mistakes that's what's causing a goal.
Yeah, when you talk about getting scored on, we have only seen it happen one time in the first three matches that counted this season. You defeated Tompkins Cortland Community College to open the season and to open MSAC play 9-0. And then North Country Community College, you defeated 2-1. And then most recently, Mohawk Valley Community College, MVCC, 1-0. So there's only one goal scored against and 12 goals for. Bring me in, Sean, to these first three matches and your takeaways that you have up to this point.
I'm going to focus more on North Country and Mohawk Valley because, simply learned more about ourselves in those games. each of them offered a different, a different difficulties. So North Country, pouring rain, long grass field, it's a long drive. So that just kind of told me that the girls we struggled a little bit, but we adapted and we got a goal, exactly what we talked about. We got a goal within the first minute of the game and immediately put the pressure on them. And then, testament to the back four, they defended well, gave up a PK, probably a little bit soft, but we can't go back in time and change a referee's decision. So they tied it up 1-1, and then we adapted, continued to attack. There was probably about 60 minutes of the game without a goal. And then in the final 4 minutes or so, we had a ball bounce our way for the first time all game, and the ball just ended up in the back of the net. So learned a lot. North Country has a lot of international players that bring a different level of soccer IQ and experience to the game.
Yeah.
So they definitely offered a different type of challenge than what we'll see with the other teams. And then Mohawk Valley, I don't know that I've ever been more stressed out. I try not to show it. I try to stay pretty level-headed, but
Yeah.
Mohawk Valley is a team that, knocked us out of the national tournament last year in penalty kicks, beat us on our own home field last year. So that was a big win just to show the girls that they're capable of winning those big games. They were number 5 in the country. We were number 6. So it was a top 10 matchup. And, it's the first time that we've beaten them since 2018. So it's been quite a while since OCC women's soccer has seen success against Mohawk Valley. And I'm not trying not to hype the girls up too much about that win.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in it's not about what you do in September, it's about what you do in late October and November. So, while it is nice to get that win, it's not the end of the season, right? We still have 10 more games left. So, it's certainly a good confidence boost and one to get off of our back. But we have another tough game tomorrow. So each game offers its own challenges, and so far in the first 3 games, the group has overcome the challenges that have been thrown at us.
Yeah, and when you speak on this, like you said, overcoming the challenges, having a wonderful victory that you had against a top 10 team in the country, and you being a top 10 team in the country, and I want to look into the screen and say that again, OCC women's soccer top 10 in the nation, but you have your first home match coming up, and that's going to be tomorrow. And so we haven't seen you at home yet. We've seen you around the state of New York, but we haven't seen you on the Chuck Wilbur Field until we will do that tomorrow. And that's against a local college in SUNY ESF. And this game, very special. And obviously, you and I talked about this off the air a little bit. And I spoke with Ava's mom about this last week. That being the Queen of the Hill Cup that's coming up. It's the OCC Lasers women's soccer team going up against SUNY ESF. And for the information here, adults are $3, children free. All the admission fees and donations will be donated to the Ava Wood Memorial Scholarship. And this game, once again, is this Thursday, September 18th, and it starts at 5 p.m. is when this game will happen on Chuck Wilbur Field. So, Sean, I'd love for you to discuss the Queen of the Hill Cup, the importance of it, and why you chose to have this Ava Wood Scholarship Fund and opportunity to raise money in honor of Ava, who we will always remember in this community and beyond.
Yeah, so the first year that soccer existed at OCC was 2009. I was a student athlete at SUNY ESF, so the team that we play against, the same year. So I took part in the first ever King of the Hill Cup, and then both teams supported a women's team after that. So ever since 2010, it's a little fun yearly tradition that goes on. Both of us are on top of a hill on opposite sides of the city, so we kind of call it the Queen of the Hill and King of the Hill Cup. Generally speaking, it's always a competitive game. A 2-year school, when we play against 4-year schools, it offers different challenges. Generally speaking, the 4-year student athletes are stronger, they're more experienced, they've had 3 to 4 years within their system, so generally more organized. So it's it's a different type of challenge for us to try to get a result out of those games. And the reason why we choose that day to honor Ava is, generally speaking, it's our most well-attended game, because there'll be a lot of ESF parents and students there as well. So we hope to draw a big crowd every day, or every time that we play them, and it just made sense that we choose that game to use that donation to Ava. Ava was a athlete that I coached for Syracuse Development Academy for 4 years.
Yeah.
And she left a big imprint in my life. Just the ideal player. Super competitive, both with her teammates and with opposition teams. But sometimes when she would get a little bit too much, she would always make sure that she would fix things. So if she tackled somebody a little too hard at practice, there would always be an apology after. Right? If she seemed to have an ability to recognize when someone was having a bad day, and then she would always try to make you smile and make you cheer up. She always had a joke, just the perfect personality for a member of your team. So we have a saying before every game in our team huddle. The girls say, "Be an Ava," and it's just something we call her our 20th player, or our third assistant coach. We have a jersey. We hang her jersey on the bench every game. She's always with us, and the girls have really hit the ground running and making sure that Ava is as included in the team as she can be.
And I appreciate you sharing that. I appreciate what you're doing, and I appreciate you obviously keeping her spirit there with you. Geona, what does that mean to you, to have the jersey on the bench, to have the saying in the huddle, "Be an Ava"? What does it mean to you?
So it means a lot, obviously. All of our shirts, like our practice shirts, have Ava with number 19, like on the sleeve. So like me personally, when I can't be there in practice, like mentally, and I'm trying to do better, like I always look at my sleeve, like do it for Ava type deal. Our huddles before a game are nothing special. It's be grateful that you're here, be thankful, and be happy to play, and be an Ava. I mean, if that's what makes us want it, I think, more than other people, is playing for that reason, because a lot of us played like with Ava, against Ava. So just seeing that impact that she left, not only like on the soccer community down here, but like Sean being her coach, just means a lot to all of us.
So you said, obviously when you're trying to lock in, when you're trying to focus, you look at your sleeve. So her impact on you is there with you on the daily, if it needs to be. And you said, I mean, some of us have played with or played against. Do you have a memory? Do you have something that sticks out to you?
Nothing that sticks out to me. I know that I played SDA a few times, like down in Syracuse tournaments, but I never had that personal like level with her. But obviously she still has like that impact on all of us, regardless we knew her personally or not. So.
And Sean, why did you want to do this? Because it goes beyond, like you said, she's our third coach. Her jersey's on the bench. You have her number right there on the jersey. You just heard your student athlete say, "Hey, if I'm struggling, I'll look right there and say, okay, I got to remember to be an Ava." You have the rally cry inside of your huddle. Ava's a part of not only things that you do with this women's soccer program at OCC, but an integral part and a consistent part, and a very well spotlit part, right? Especially if you're using "Be an Ava" as your tagline, your quote, your mantra. Why choose that? Because some people honor someone and they do something, and every year it's like, hey, this tournament's for this or this match is for that. But you have Ava in the daily of your program. Why?
It's just to remind the girls that having the opportunity to play college soccer is not something that everybody is given. Whether they fall out of love with the sport or whether something tragic happens, don't take the opportunity for granted, and make every possible minute on the field count. Because that's what Ava did. Right? There was, whether she was having, some rough times at home, when she would step on the field, it was all business. It was soccer. She was going to do whatever she could to make sure that her team had the best opportunity to win. So that's something that we like to try to remind the girls. It's a don't take the opportunity for granted. Whether you thought you were going to be at OCC or whether you thought you were going to be somewhere else, you're still playing college soccer when there's many many athletes out there that don't have that opportunity.
Great message carried from a leader that I definitely appreciate having at OCC, and Sean St. Denis, and of course, Geona, your leadership as well. Before we jump into rapid fire, you guys, you've already kind of done this, but you're sitting next to each other. I think it's important to tell me something good. So, Geona, tell me something good about Sean St. Denis as he sits right there.
Oh God.
That's probably my favorite intro to this segment is her going, and you going, oh God. That's probably
Well, the first thing I think about is his personality and just the way he coaches. I mean, I know I hit on his coaching style, but like his personality as well. Like we have a lot of girls who just come in here before practice and hang out, and Sean just always has a smile on his face, and if he doesn't, I mean, we all laugh and make jokes until he does, because he really is the light to this team. So
I love that. He is the light to this team. Some big words to follow,
Yeah.
Sean. So tell me something good about Geona.
I mean, how am I supposed to top the white to the team?
Exactly.
One thing that I appreciate is I never have to worry about Geona, whether it's homework or whether it's not going out and doing something dumb outside of campus. Gianna has always been reliable in her year and a half here so far, and it's just never something that I have to like stay up late at night wondering like, hey, are any of the players doing anything stupid? Am I going to get a phone call? Gianna is never on the list of players that I'm thinking is going to end up calling me from some place that she shouldn't be calling me from.
Fair. Fair enough. From the light of the team to the trooper that will never be in jail. I love it. So let's play some rapid fire. We are here inside of this Lazer Lounge every other Wednesday on Wake Up Call, exclusively in our multimedia marketing partnership with Onondaga Community College. We have the opportunity to spotlight student athletes, coaches, and administration that are part of this Lazer family. Today, we are honoring the OCC women's soccer program. And of course, we are here with Sean St. Denis, the head coach, and student athlete and goalkeeper Geona Wood. This is how we're going to play rapid fire. As you see us on your screen, it is myself all the way to the left, then Geona, then Sean. And so we will go in that order and then come back around so we all get to ask each other at least one question. So my question for you to start, Geona, is if you took over my show for the day and it was Wake Up Call with Geona Wood, what three guests in this world, and it could be living or have already passed on, what three people would you want to interview on Wake Up Call with Geona Wood, and why?
Ava being one of them, I think. Just interviewing her about like what she saw in soccer and what she found. Like Sean said, when she's having a bad day, like she'd always show up to the soccer field and that was like her place. So just learning her mentality side of things, I think would be a great interview. Three's a lot. I don't know.
Your first one was great. You can have anybody. You can have sports, entertainment. Literally, I mean, it's endless possibilities for you of who you can talk with. So, I mean, even if it's like a musician that you listen to and say, hey, I want to have them on the show.
Maybe someone from the U.S. women's national team.
Okay.
Their goalkeeper or someone like that. Just interviewing them because obviously they're playing at like that national level. So how do you overcome adversity, things of that nature at that next step, at that next level? I mean, Alyssa Nair is a great goalkeeper. Could interview her about those things. And third, oh boy, I'm thinking way too much into it. I don't know. I got two. That's good enough.
Those are your two that you'll focus on. Ava, and then goalkeeping representation from the U.S. women's national team. By the way, whenever I hear about the United States team, and it's men or women, I don't understand the lack of knowledge, and I think you can both maybe agree with me on this, that people don't understand that the U.S. women's national team in world play is arguably the best nation in the world. And when it comes to World Cup, competing for a World Cup, winning a World Cup, it's not Brazil, it's not Germany, it's not England, it's not Spain, it's not France, it's nowhere else. The United States women's national team, because people say, do you think the men's team is going to qualify this year? Do you think they're going to make it to this round? Do you think they're going to make it out of group play? Where when we're talking about the women, it's, are they going to win it all? Are they going to come close to winning it all? So I think that one thing that has to be stated, going off of what you said, Geona, is that the world needs to educate themselves a little bit more that this United States women's national team, whoever's on the team, is by and large the team to beat when it comes to world play. Would you agree?
I agree.
Yeah.
So, all right, you get to ask a question to Coach, Geona, whatever you want to ask him.
Bring it.
Bring it, he says. I mean, I just feel like you're always so like nonchalant and like positive, but like, is there ever a time where you're like nervous and just like don't show it? Like, I feel like when we're going into matches, like big matches, you're like always so chill, and like internally, like, are you nervous? Are you really just like okay with whatever outcome like that is presented to us?
What is this, a therapy session?
You got to answer it.
Yeah, of course. Whether we're playing one of the best teams that we play against, or one of the lower quality teams, there's always a little bit of nervousness, but you try not to exude it too much, because that makes you guys nervous.
Yeah.
And if what do I always say? When I start to get nervous and start freaking out, that's when you guys can start freaking out. Right? So I try to stay relatively calm, so it brings out a little bit more calmness in you guys.
It definitely gives us more confidence as well.
So I like that. So yes, but he doesn't show it to you. All right, Sean, what's your question for me?
I mean, I got nothing deep like that. If you could be a professional in any like weird skill, what would it be?
Oh man. If I could be a professional in any weird skill, what would it be? There's some like
yo-yo.
I mean, yeah, there's some really weird things that just kind of like entered my brain. If it was sports, I would want to be like an insane thrower in the world of like track and field. Like I'm not a weak human being. I know that I have strength, but I would want to take something and I'd want to like launch it into space. So if I could have that, like if I was a thrower, I'd want to be like Thor. I'd want to be able to throw that thing and you don't see it. And then I'm going to say the first two things that came to mind. I'd want to be a unicycler that could eat fire, because I don't understand. Like when I watch it, I'm like, how are these people eating swords and fire and keeping their balance at the same time? So those are the first two things that came to mind. So those are the first two things I'm going to say.
So you want to be like a leveled up, who's the lady who does the NBA games? Red Panda?
So, and the crazy thing is, so I actually got to see Red Panda so many times, because I cover the ACC tournament and she always comes to the ACC tournament. So, yeah, I mean, Red Panda, shout out to her and the fact that people know who she is, because when I saw her at the ACC tournament, I'm like, is she like world known or what is, and now you see her everywhere. So, and the fact that you mentioned her today, much love to Red Panda.
Shout out Red Panda.
Shout out to the Red Panda. Question back to you, Sean. If you could transform right now into a superhero, what superhero would you choose to be? What villain would you fight? And what city would you be in?
Oh, jeez. I don't know. I like turtles, so Turtle Man. I don't know what my superpower would be, but it'd be kind of cool. Maybe like a Ninja Turtle.
Okay.
Always had a fascination with London, even though I've never been, so we'll go with London. And who would I fight? Who's a turtle's adversary?
Shredder.
I feel like turtles don't like snakes, so maybe a giant serpent or something.
Gianna,
compared to mine are insane.
Yeah. Gianna, just remember what he said today. Turtle Man fighting a snake in London. Don't forget that. So
that green thing right over there in the corner of the screen is a stuffed turtle. We got turtles all over the place.
Hey, listen, I tell people all the time, I'm a Ninja Turtle at heart, Michelangelo. So, Sean, you get to now ask the therapy question to Gianna.
Boy.
Oh. Yeah, I don't. Maybe not a therapy question.
I know, I'm kidding.
I'm gonna hit you. Can I do like 3 short questions?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes.
When you make a grilled cheese, white or orange cheese?
Orange.
Orange? That's crazy. Nah, it's gotta be white cheese.
No.
What about a cheeseburger?
I don't like cheeseburgers.
Oh, that's right. You're weird. I forgot the third. I kind of hit you with a third anyway.
Okay. So, I don't believe a hot dog is a sandwich. However, there is only one way to make grilled cheese, and that's what people call yellow or orange. What's your other question?
Is cereal a soup?
No. It's cereal.
All right.
All right, Gianna, bring us home. You get to ask the final question in rapid fire here in this Lazer Lounge. What do you have for me?
If you could have one superpower in life, what would it be?
Well, my knee jerk's always been flight or teleportation, but there's a character that I created in college, and I talk about it a little bit, but people love to steal in today's world. So I don't give like every piece of it, but I created a trailer with my friend Don Fasulo, who I love. Shout out to Don. And he had the power to heal, but it was more than physical. So he, by simply touching anyone, touch your shoulder, like as long as he physically put his hands on you, he could take physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain, spiritual pain, any type of pain away. He would absorb it, was the caveat though. So if he took the cancer out of your body, he had to absorb it. He would heal from it, but he had to feel your pain while he was taking it from you. And he couldn't heal everybody at the same time because it would kill him. So that entire story that I created and the vision of the character going off of that, I would say I would want to have the power to heal. I would want to have the power to take anyone and everyone's pain away. And in a weird way, I feel like when you feel someone else's pain, you're connecting in this world. And I feel like if we could feel what each other's feeling and go through what each other's going through, as much as it's hard to, maybe we could understand and become more connected and more caring of each other if we could understand each other's pain. So the vision for that character and my answer to your question is I would want to heal, and I'd also want to let somebody know that they don't carry their cross by themselves. So that would be my answer.
I like that.
So with that being said, for Sean St. Denis, for Geona Wood, for OCC Lasers Women's Soccer, and for all of you watching and listening to know where you need to be tomorrow night, Thursday, September 18th, 5 p.m., Chuck Wilbur Field on campus at Onondaga Community College. Make sure that you come out for the Queen of the Hill Cup. We have OCC versus SUNY ESF and honoring Ava Wood more than anything else. Make sure you come out. Make sure you donate. Make sure you give back. And let's all have a great night. And Sean and Geona, I'm going to do this because we're live, and why not? My first game that I will come to for OCC Women's Soccer will be tomorrow night. I'll see you there at 5 o'clock.
Oh,
Awesome.
Thank you.
So with that
We
being
appreciate
said,
the support.
of course, it is my pleasure. So thank you, Sean. Thanks, Geona. Thanks to your team. And this has been another edition of the Lazer Lounge. I hope you both have a great day of practice, and I'll see you at the match tomorrow.
Good. Thank you again for having us.
Thank you.
Of course. Take care. That coming once again from Geona and Sean here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. I will be there, and I hope you will be too. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow night when we have the Queen of the Hill Cup. OCC in their first match at home of the season. They had a couple scrimmages, 3 road games. Now they're coming home. Will you join me? Let's honor Ava Wood. Let's be a stronger community together. Let's have some fun. Let's see a great match. And let's support each other. And remember, as Coach said, not everybody has the opportunity or the privilege to get to be here to do certain things. And though Ava is not physically with us, she lives on in our minds, in our hearts, in the way we treat people. And we all know she's in heaven. And we know she'll be there tomorrow. Will you? Thursday, September 18th, 5 o'clock. We'll see you at Chuck Wilbur Field at OCC for the Queen of the Hill Cup. And I can't wait. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back right after this. Fantasy football, you know, always comes up on a Wednesday, and it's always its own video because it's literally a show that is grown within this show of Wake Up Call. So we'll take a step aside, we'll come back, and we'll start a new video right after this. Thanks for being with us, and God bless you all. And now a message from Myers Creek Brewing Company, with locations at their Cazenovia Farm Brewery, Syracuse Inner Harbor Tap Room, and soon-to-be Lake Placid Tap Room.
Well, I think first and foremost, the Feldmeyer family and our team are extremely passionate about what we do. We care very much about what we do. The Feldmeyer family is always investing. Our taproom management team, our brew management team, our marketing management team, and all of the team members that get after it every day, they leave it on the field. They put their heart and soul into it. I know for a fact that everyone that works at Myers Creek wants to be there, and we want them to be there. You know, we want them to feel good about their job. And again, if you've never been to a Myers Creek, especially to the brewery, I mean, I want your eyes to open really big. I want you to see how big of a brand this is. I want you to see where we're going. The sky is the limit, and I feel very proud of that, and I'm very excited about that. When you think of designing a menu for a brewery, it's kind of open to a lot of different interpretations. I mean, you can do American, you can do Asian, you can do Italian, and you just have to find, you know, how that meets that pub style dining experience, that gastropub vibe. And I think it's super fun for us because obviously we know that, you know, everyone in the world's going to sell a pizza or a burger or a french fry, but what can we do to be different? And what can we do to be true to who we are? We are a brewery, you know, a brew pub. So the flavor profiles are kind of all over the place. And I think it's super cool that we have a massive smoker at the brewery in Cazenovia, and we smoke a lot of our products. They're delicious smoked turkey. We have barbecue ribs on Sundays, from a pulled pork sandwich to a chicken wing. You go to the Inner Harbor and you go to the Kaz location and you'll find similarities in the menu, but also things that are a little different and also kind of fit those different demographics or different communities, and also hopefully just drive you to try every tap room that we have open at some point because you get a little something different at each one. You know, we understand how hard it is to, you work every day and get after it every day. And when you're done at the end of your day, you want to go out and put your feet up in a good ambiance and good environment. So we take pride in that. We make sure that everyone knows that they're very much valued to us.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. And those of you that know our Wednesdays when it comes to the Fantasy Football Power Hour, not one of, not a, but the Fantasy Football Power Hour, it has its own broadcast. So we will end this live feed on audio and video, and we will rejoin you here on our wonderful channels on YouTube, Facebook, as well as Podbean in just a moment. So stay with us.